Hi guys, and welcome to Your Pretty for a podcast with Iman and Saba. This week we are joined by Freddy, Folarin and Tevin from Pull the Plug podcast as we discuss feminism. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, so thank you people for listening so far. So effectively what we did, we had an episode with Leo about 2 episodes ago where we had like a centerpiece which was kind of surrounding the oppression of women. And then back then we alluded to the fact that we wanted to, get an alternative viewpoint with some women. So obviously we're joined thankfully by our 2 wonderful guests. And then we basically wanted to kind of just go into the topic of feminism, but obviously get it from the feminine viewpoint. So I guess like a really good starting point is, like what is feminism to all of us? So I'm gonna start with you. Like, what does it actually mean to you personally, like feminism?
So I understand that people say, there are different meanings of feminism out there. People are saying it's females should be superior to men, or people are saying equality.
Who's saying that females should be superior to men?
Several people say it.
Go on. No, I think there's like a misconception with a lot of guys in our generation that it's feminism the term is kind of intimidating because they think that it means that women are superior to men or should be superior in society. And yeah, it's just a misconception. It's actually just the equality of men and
But land.
But yeah, sorry.
You have a valid point there, because as soon as you put a label on it and say, oh, you're a misogynist or you're not a feminist or whatever, people get really offended. It's like saying, oh, you're a racist, or there's institutional racism in your company, and then people don't like that. They'll be like, no, I'm not racist, but they're failing to acknowledge the actual definition, what it actually means. And to me, what feminism means is equality and equity. There's a balance between the two. So not equality in all stances, and not equity in all stances, but it's a balance between the two. But yeah, that's what feminism means to me. And I'm an avid believer of feminism to an extent.
Okay, yeah.
I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for that caveat. No, he's honest. No, to be fair, like I guess to me, feminism, my stance in it, well, not my stance, but my idea of what feminism has always been, is centered around the fact that women just basically want to be treated, the exact same way that men get treated. Like there's no like, wow, yeah, there's no like oppression in the sense that women get discriminated purely based off of their gender. They just want to basically have like a fair shake of the dice that men get given. So that's kind of like what I've always thought feminism has been. But then I didn't realize until like maybe about a couple of weeks ago that feminism is even one-dimensional. Because I always thought feminism was just like, there's only just one set type. Kind of like, when you say racism, you think it's just overt racism as in racial slurs. But when you look at it, it's very, very multi-layered. So then like I did some research today and I found out that there's 3 main types. There's obviously liberal feminism, Marxist feminism, and radical feminism, which like all covered like 3 different areas and like different waves of how the movement's be like gone across the years. But it's kind of hard, but we're going to go into that later on. But yeah, for me, that's what I've always kind of thought that feminism's been about, like, making it a more level playing field.
For me, feminism is simple. It's just the belief that men and female are equal. That's it. No other caveats, just that belief.
Question.
So are you a feminist?
Yeah, 100%.
Remember we did the podcast when we had the misogynistic quiz, and I said, are men and women equal? I was the only one that said men and women are equal. And you've just now said...
But men and women aren't equal.
Remember that episode, yeah? I said that men and women are equal. And
I remember this. Fred?
Nah, bro. I can pull up receipts. I could actually pull up receipts. All right, cool. Go on.
But men and women aren't equal. That's why we need feminism.
Yeah, that's what I agree, that they're not equal now. But
okay, look.
In a perfect world, they are. They would.
All right, so for me, like, on a sub-zero basic level... Of course, like, men and women should be equal. Like, for me, I wouldn't actually say that I'm a feminist.
Ooh.
And the reason why I say that I wouldn't be a feminist or label myself as a feminist is because when I think of feminism, I think of radical feminism. I think of white women with hairy armpits that are, out in Trafalgar Square every other week, that are vegans, that are this, that are that. That's what I have in my head. For me, it's not relatable. I don't For me, it's not relatable. It doesn't apply to me. It doesn't stand up for me. It doesn't stand up for what I believe in, what I need. So I feel like I can't have, Sharon telling me as a Muslim woman, oh, you're oppressed. You need to be sexually liberated. You need this. No, don't tell me what to do. If I want to be a housewife and I think that is equal and that's what is told to me and I'm happy with that, leave me alone. Don't tell me that I'm oppressed. Don't tell me that I'm lesser than you. So my problem with the word feminism today is that I feel like it's almost degraded as a word. I don't feel like it serves its purpose because when you say to someone, oh, I'm a feminist, immediately,
They get this
particularly,
idea of you.
yeah, particularly for me as well, like all my life I've been told I'm aggressive or I'm this or I'm too this or I'm too opinionated, yada, yada, yada. So if I then go and throw feminism into the mix as well, it's a write-off. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's always going to say, stand clear of this one, stand clear. So I don't know, like I just feel like now the modern day feminist has completely deviated from the core values and principles of what feminism should be about. Like,
But
for
with
me,
that being said, can't you say that it's the goalpost is continually changing in the sense
But
that
that's
the issues that were back in, let's say, the early 1900s
yeah,
aren't the same issues that are.
absolutely.
So therefore,
This is what
in
I'm
sense,
saying.
like feminism
It's
is
changed.
gonna-
Yeah. Absolutely. And I feel like it is whitewashed. Like, so when we look at the suffragette movement, for example, and they wanted, equal rights in terms of men and women both being able to vote. I mean, I think it was just recently in France where it wasn't law for women to have to go and vote, for example. So when we're talking about equality in terms of the basic principles of life in Western society, 100% I'm for that. But when we're talking about other stuff that doesn't apply to me, and that's not valid in my life and is not coherent with my own culture, my own religion and my own beliefs, don't push that down my throat. And that's me saying that as a woman.
So you don't like being dictated to that this is what you should believe in, this is what
Yeah,
you should
no,
believe in,
don't dictate to
or
me.
that
I think
you're pulling down the movement. It's your choice, your
absolutely
opinion.
And I think this is what I'm saying. I think that modern day feminism is doing the opposite.
But surely feminism is the belief that if you want to grow out your armpits, you can. Or if you want to be a housewife, you can. And if you want to stay at home,
but the problem is particularly, and this is, I know Saba will go into intersectional feminism because although there's the three main types, there's intersectional feminism that looks into different races and cultures and religions when it comes to feminism because they don't like go underneath those brackets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just don't dictate to me what's not relevant to my life.
You don't want to be told what to do. You want to do whatever you want to do. And
I think the form of feminism we see in mainstream media is very whitewashed, and that is like, it's kind of like a blanket statement for all women, and we have to, women and men, because feminism is a male and female issue. When we talk about intersectional feminism, it's including disabled women, it's including women of color, black women, like LGBTQ women, trans women, all of these, different minorities, they need to be included within feminism. And when you're seeing in media
the portrayal
of feminism, it's it's completely one-dimensional. And that's why I completely agree with you, Iman, of what you're saying. You don't feel like you're included in this form of feminism that we see in this day and age.
I don't feel like feminists even get taken seriously.
This is what I'm
especially
saying.
amongst our age group. Like, let's be real, boy to boy. If a girl told you that like she's a feminist, like what will kind of go through your head? Were you thinking like, okay, sure?
for me, I like that. I find that attractive. Like I was with someone in the past who said that they're not a feminist.
Mhm.
And for me, that shocked me because I thought I'm a feminist. I believe in equality between men and females. And you don't believe the same things. Like, are we going to agree about what each other's positions are within the relationship or within society? So for me, it's an attractive feature for a girl to say that she's a feminist.
I mean, besides it being attractive to you as a man, but I mean, okay, fine, that's how you feel. But Freddy, like, how would you feel about I came up to you and I said,
You're
I'm
a feminist.
feminist, I'm this,
To
I'm
be fair,
this,
my
I'm this,
innate-
and this. I just feel like, sorry to
Go.
before you start, it's like, I mean, I don't want to go on about vegans all the time, but you know when someone's vegan, that's the first thing they say. Hi, yeah, I'm a vegan. You know, it's hi,
Yeah.
my name is Iman, I'm a feminist. Like, that doesn't define me, you know?
So yeah, my innate response would be like, whoa, like, why are you telling me all this? Like,
Yeah.
you're it's as if you're assuming that
That you're not.
I'm not. Or you're trying to get me prepared to ensure, like, in preparation for your antics. So
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like both of you were saying as well, it's a case where people have got this perception of what a feminist is, you know, and then
but giving me a heads up that you're a feminist, there's actually no need.
yeah,
You don't even know me.
I think it's something. I think it's something you can understand when you're progressing in a relationship. You
Yeah.
can kind of gauge if someone is a feminist or not. But I think it's important as well to have that discussion and unpack that. What you think, a man should be and a woman should be in terms of equality in a relationship as well. All of that kind of thing. It does tap into feminism. It is important to ask those questions as well. I mean, I wouldn't say like going in and introducing yourself. Hi, I'm Saba, I'm a feminist. But I think in this time it is important for men to know what feminism is and see where they fit into that.
But this is what I'm saying. I don't think that a lot of men do know 100%
Yeah.
what it is. Like Folarin said, I think men and women should be equal, and that's that. Or 100%, of course. That's what everyone.
But not everyone thinks
No,
that.
but
not everyone thinks
not
that.
everyone thinks
Not
that.
everyone
I
thinks
hear,
that.
That's
I
the
hear
thing.
what you're
Not
saying.
everyone
Not
does.
everyone thinks that,
Yeah.
but feminism isn't just that. Like, it's not what it is today. Is not just men and women just need to be equal.
For
Do
me,
you know what I
that
mean?
is what
There's
feminism
alright. So,
is.
for example, I have friends who are black and Muslim. Yeah, I'm telling you now, as my friend who wears hijab, she has no place on a table with a room full of white feminists.
See, for me, I don't look at it at
They
that deep
don't
level.
see her as having a place there.
I don't look at it at that deep level. I just look at men and females. I don't look at it the
Okay,
type
cool.
of different
But this
females.
so this is what Saba was saying is that men need to be educated on how, because it is deep.
Let me be real with you. I think day to day, men don't really care. Like,
Yeah, men
they
don't
don't
really
really
care
care
'cause
about
it's
this.
a section.
Yeah,
for yourself,
exactly.
please.
But no,
No, because I'm an advocate. To be fair, I 100% believe that.
there we go.
Yeah, women can do whatever they want to do, but at the same time, like, I don't feel like.
Oh, but we
men-
can't do what we want to do.
No,
really
but
and
this is
truly.
my opinion. I feel like, honestly, if you're with me or if I'm superior to you in terms of work, sense, whatever, you have freedom to do whatever you want to do, as long as it's not like breaking the law. I have no qualms with that. But I do get what you're saying about it being whitewashed or it's not accepted everywhere, like the full feminism, like as you said, intersectional feminism. And it sucks, and there's a lot that needs to be done, and I don't feel that they even know where to begin. It's like racism again. So
Yeah.
I keep likening it to racism, but they don't know where to begin.
This is the
honestly.
thing, like racism and like being as us, like women of color, like that is not separate to a feminist issue. Like that's not separate to being a woman. Those two are both like it's an issue that comes together. And with feminism, it separates those two. That what we see right now, like day to day in media and whatever, they separate that all the time, and it's not inclusive. So we can't relate to it.
Yeah, but so for example, if I was to go to Dubai, yeah, and there's a white woman called Karen, 1000%, although she's a woman, she will probably have more rights than the Indian taxi driver, for example. So then feminism, then you've got the intersectional feminism that has to be taken into account when we're talking about race, when we're talking about class, when we're talking about culture, when we're talking about all of these things, because this is a woman who says that she's a feminist, but yet she's above a man. She's superior to a man.
So she's not a feminist at all then.
Well, but if she classes herself as a feminist because she wants equality between the genders, fine. But we're in a situation now where she doesn't even have to fight, and she's already superior.
She
to
has
the
that
opposite gender.
privilege.
She has that privilege. So you have to take race into account. You have to take culture into account. You have to take religion, class, all of these like
Socioeconomic
they go.
factors.
Of course, they go hand in hand. Like there's no way you can have a discussion about gender equality without bringing up all of those other factors. So it's not as black and like I swear to God, if it was that black and white, we would have no issue.
I understand that. It's just that, as we all know, men and women aren't equal right now.
No.
And to make men and women equal, it's going to be a difficult task.
No,
also-
I'm going to disagree.
You don't think so?
Men and women are equal. They're just not treated the same.
No, we're not equal.
We are equal, as in a man and a woman.
Okay,
we
yeah,
are
we're not
equal.
Oh,
treated
okay.
the same.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough,
in a
fair enough.
philosophical sense, yes, we are equal. We are each other's equal, but we're not treated the same. And even things like, okay, so like equal pay, and I don't think that's gonna change.
Really?
In our
Yeah, I
lifetime.
think they expect
in our
it.
lifetime. No.
I'm not too sure, but there
Okay.
was like a
No.
statistic. I think in 40 years, in like Western culture, we'll reach some sort of equal pay. But we're not taking, again, it excludes everywhere else in the world. Where how long will that take? And like Iman's saying, like in
It's
our
a
lifetime,
white
it's
issue,
not
that's what I'm
it's not
saying.
gonna happen.
I 100% get what you mean, because I've seen like the breakdown in America when it's talking about the hierarchy of payments. So I believe it goes white men, I think it goes white men, then Asian men, then white women, Asian women, black men,
Like women.
black women.
Mm.
So again, from at face value, someone could say, "Oh yeah, it's a case of if a white woman was, for instance, to get paid the same amount as a man." People say, "Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
The equal pay is sorted."
No.
But again, like we were
It's
saying,
not.
how
Because
it's so multi-layered,
Yeah.
the other, what's it called, the ethnic minorities,
Yeah.
they are still lagging behind
Behind a white
due to
woman.
the other socioeconomic
Yeah.
factors that all feed in to the issue of feminism. I'll say that, like everything as well, there's definitely like an ignorance on the male part, because
100%.
I speak for myself here. I only found out until I did research that I didn't know that feminism was as broad as it is, and we're going to speak about it very shortly, like the different streams. But can you really fault some men for not knowing? To a certain extent, it's like, it is ignorance on our part, but by and large, a lot of people get their media is the biggest teacher for a lot of people, and if the media portrays like feminists to be like monolithic, then obviously that then fuels people's idea of what a feminist is and what feminism ultimately stands for. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, us as men, we don't know like how deep rooted and how widespread in the spectrum.
That's because we've been
feminism.
benefiting from.
Yeah,
this
100%.
I
breakdown.
think recognizing
Your privilege.
recognizing your privilege and not being offended when someone calls you out on it, but instead use that to motivate you to learn is
like,
the
be
best way
inquisitive.
to kind of go about it. And I think people also get like really angry, call people out and cancel them. And I don't think that's the right way to go about it as well, because then that person's not learning, and everyone, when you don't cancel and you educate instead, that
Trying to
person,
make a
everyone's
change.
eyes are going to be on them and they're going to be sure to do better.
Mhm.
And so it's just a matter of, just recognizing your privilege and making sure you do better. And it's like our education system, like growing up, like we went to an all-girls school, and so many feminist issues, we didn't learn about it.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. And so I think it starts as well with education, always, as everything.
Well, since we have the pleasure of being in both of your presences, like, do you know what's it called? Like, kind of educate us a bit on the different strands of feminism. I've got like freedom here, but I know that was it intersectional feminism?
Yeah, intersectional feminism is just including, like I was saying, it's including disabled, including LGBTQ plus community, including trans women, including different, realizing that race is a big factor in it. It's not a separate issue, it's a combined issue. And it's just making sure that you're inclusive in everything that you do, putting those two categories together.
It's just creating safe spaces for these people that come from these cultures and religions and backgrounds and etc., and catering to them and catering to their needs and seeing how it is that they live their life, what works for them, and make sure that they are equal in relevance to how they live.
So equity then, not equality.
Yes.
Yeah, so
equity.
a white woman might see a woman in a hijab and quickly assume that she's oppressed and all of these factors and whatnot.
Because she's being made to cover.
But she doesn't know that this woman's culture. She doesn't know this woman's religion. She doesn't know this woman's
But
upbringing, and it's just having this. Sorry, yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, sorry to cut you. Okay, so you don't know Billie Eilish, yeah?
I saw this.
So I think
today
it
as
was
well.
like a year ago. She done I'm gonna say it was Vogue or GQ.
Oh, was this the
She
thing where
done-
she covered up her hair and then?
No, not even
Oh,
her
no.
hair.
No. She wears
Billie
baggy
Eilish, yeah,
clothes.
whenever
Yeah.
you see her, she always
Oh,
wears baggy
she
clothes.
covers up her body and then people are like,
Yeah, cool.
yeah,
So
people
she,
loved it off.
so she's like, she is a modest dresser because she doesn't want to be sexualized. People were praising her. They were like, "Oh my god, this is revolutionary. This is it." But when a Muslim woman does it, oh, she's oppressed when she's doing the exact same thing
Yeah.
because she doesn't want to be sexualized. That is an example of how feminism is not working. That is an example of how intersectional feminism has not been taken into account.
But I can't
Because-
for a Muslim girl, you kind of expect it for them to cover up. It's a bigger thing for them to reveal themselves.
Yeah, you expect it,
Mm.
but what certain feminists today in this day and age have done, have slandered them and have said that they are oppressed.
Because
But when
they-
a white
That's
woman
based-
does it, they're not oppressed.
Because they assume that a man is controlling them and telling them you should be dressing
it's
this
based
way.
on
or-
stigma, basically.
Exactly.
So with obviously Hollywood films and the media, they all portray this rhetoric that Muslim women are below
Yeah.
the man, the husband also. And it's the husband that inflicts this. But in actual fact, that's got nothing.
when
So
more
the-
time, they
yeah.
probably put on hijab before they even met him.
True,
Do you know what I
very
mean?
true. There's not many people even are aware. Like,
Of course.
people are so stupid when it comes to hijab.
They're
Or when it
so,
comes-
they're
They'll be like,
so
oh, do you wear it in the
dumb.
shower? When do you take it off? Do you ever take it off? It's just
Yeah,
stupid
they're
questions.
so like, so for example, even me, so I come from a matriarchal household. So like I've grown up just with women, like without going into it. My dad wasn't around, so my mum is my grandma and me and my sister. Yeah. My mum doesn't wear hijab. A lot of my close family don't wear hijab. But last year, my sister who's younger than me, she decided to put on the hijab. But when people see her outside, they just assume that she comes from a household that's dictated by my dad. Yada. It's the complete opposite. When they see me, they're like, you lot are like chalk and cheese. And it's because she has decided to make that decision. In the same way, if Billie Eilish wants to wear baggy clothes, someone else can wear the hijab. So don't tell me about your feminism and tell me that that should be my feminism. And now that I should be a feminist, and because I'm not living to the way that you live your life, I'm now not, I'm responsible for people not understanding what the equality between sexes are and X, Y, and Z. Which goes back to my point in the beginning, which is why I wouldn't say that I'm a feminist because, yeah.
Based on just that reason alone.
Yeah, based
That
on the fact
people
that
are dictators.
I don't think that it qualifies for,
Doesn't benefit
right
you.
term for my life.
But the actual definition, so forget about how people might say, oh, you're oppressed or whatever.
yeah.
You don't think you're feminist at all.
The feminism for what it is today, no. What it stands for, as I said, equality between two genders. I already said earlier, that should be a substandard 0, of course. That shouldn't even be a, of course.
So
But
when
do
it
you-
comes to
Sorry, go on.
okay,
You go.
so when it comes to like dating, so let's say you were to see, it's just like a blind date or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy takes you to Novikov,
Yeah.
or you guys decide. to
Don't
stay Novikov, whatever.
tell me who
What?
pays on the first date,
Who
please.
should pay? Like,
Oh
wow.
my
You know,
God.
do you know what?
We
Oh,
said
wow.
this
Oh,
before.
yeah. Oh,
We
wow.
actually discussed this before.
Oh,
We're like,
yeah.
why is it men, when we speak about feminism,
They
there's two
always
things.
use
There's
this.
two things that they love to bring up. Who pays on the first date? And they get offended when women say, oh, but so you will date a guy who's under 6 foot. You have to date a guy under 6 foot. These two things, that they are
not
they are
synonymous.
The two, they are not
It's
synonymous.
just
Preach.
No, but that's
example.
the
Well, because
preference.
you believe in feminism to extent.
Whoever
You only
invited-
believe in
Stop.
feminism up
Whoever
until
invited.
chivalry.
Listen,
Okay,
whoever
up until
invited or
chivalry.
whoever asked who out
Yeah.
will pay for the date.
Okay, let's say I don't open a door for you.
Well, don't open the door
Don't
for me.
open the door.
So
That's
you won't
fine.
feel any.
No,
so you won't
of
think,
course
okay,
not.
chivalry
No.
is dead. Oh no, you.
No.
No, I
okay,
think
some people believe that. Okay,
Yeah, but chivalry and feminism is different.
really?
No, it
look,
is.
that's your
Why is that?
that's your personal.
Why do you mean? Why is that?
No,
Look,
why?
chivalry comes from culture.
Exactly.
Chivalry comes from a different.
The way
chivalry
you're
doesn't come
raised.
from
So in that
equality.
case, then patriarchy also comes from culture.
100%, of course. Where do you think patriarchy comes from?
So you're upset. One second. So you're upset with the fact that patriarchy.
Yeah, I know.
Your voice literally.
Right, carry like. What was I saying?
No, we'll talk about where does patriarchy stem from.
Yeah, so patriarchy obviously comes from culture. Chivalry
does it-
comes from.
It does.
It
It
does,
does.
but-
Patriarchy is
But
different.
the thing
in
is, though,
different
I was talking
cultures.
to someone about this before we came here, yeah, and it's really, really interesting. Like, we all say patriarchy comes from culture, yeah, but then another way to think about it is, okay, religion is deeply embedded in a lot of cultures. So let's say, for instance, in the medieval times in England, the majority of English people were either Catholic or Protestant, one of the two. Long story short, and obviously the Bible itself does mention the fact that the wife is obviously the inferior like spouse in the Bible. So therefore, people could take those teachings and make the assumption, you know, that effectively patriarchy was set in stone from then on. But what I was thinking about is Fred, when we were on the phone call, Fred mentioned like back in the Ice Ages, you know, when it was like a case of men and women, you know, like cavemen, like back in the times of cavemen. Why is it he said that effectively like patriarchy could have started then?
Potentially.
But then what I was saying is, we're saying culture, but what was the culture? What drove the culture back then?
Well, women give birth.
Women give birth and men needed to go and hunt and food and.
But we live in a different society now. We live in a completely different society.
I mean, the society hasn't really changed that much. Women still give birth and are still the natural.
Women still give birth, but women also work as well, and they provide for their family, and they have an equal partnership. It's more of a team. The man looks after the child. There are men who stay at home.
Men don't hunt.
I mean,
it's different.
Women have the ability to work now. I think that's what's different. But I mean, you two are women, and one day, hopefully, you'll have kids, or if that's what you wish. Would you like to leave your kids at home or with a childminder or work, or would you like to stay home with them?
Well,
I know it's different.
Husband can do that too.
I know it's different, but I'm just wondering.
I grew up in a household where there were at times my mum was working and my dad was looking after us, and my dad was working and my mum was looking after us. So I had, you know, but like an experience of like having my dad being the sole caregiver and my mum. So. And I thought that was like a perfect way of like perfect balance, because I have a great relationship with both of them right now. So I think it depends on your partnership. It depends on your jobs. I don't think we should shame women if they want to, you know, stay at home and look after their kids. And we shouldn't shame men either. If, you know, someone was earning more and it just made more sense that the woman was working and the man was looking after the children, that shouldn't be something that we should shame men for in society.
And it's so sad that we do. We shame men that stay at home with the kids, and it's disappointing because, I mean, as a father, I don't think there's anything better that. Not me, don't worry.
Oh,
don't worry. I realised when I said it. I just
massive bombshell. Okay. I was like, oh, interesting.
Didn't mention that.
I saw the shock on your face and I got scared as well. I thought, have I got a kid?
You're speaking it into existence.
No, but I mean, generally, as like a father, there's nothing better that you'd want to do than spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
So I understand both sides of.
But
I mean, not all men.
But the issue as well, though, is I feel like society kind of sets the tone for you, because if you look at it in its most basic form, you've got maternity leave, which is a year, approximately a year, and paternity leave, which has only been extended to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's only as of last year, it was bumped up to 2 weeks. So inherently, as a father, you've got less contact time. So even if you wanted to, like, the system that we've got right now has already been set up that, boy, if you want to, like, stay at home, it is going to cost you.
Yeah.
But that depends on the corporation you work for, because they're just guidelines that the government has.
No, but let's be real though, like.
But your
but the thing is,
company
maternity leave as a whole is like it's generally expected that you get like a year off. But
well, I mean, we have to physically heal as well.
Yeah, I get that. I know, I get that. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, for a man, if
it
you
should
want
be
to
increased.
I think
paternity leave should definitely be increased.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Like, I
do think so?
No, let the girls.
No, I do think it should be increased, but I think it should be like, I think that the government should start implementing law where, like, you can maybe take up to like 3 months, 4 months, but where if you wanted to, but a year for a man to take off paternity leave is unreasonable.
But I think that's ridiculous, man.
No, but actually, wait. I just realised.
Ridiculous. 3
you
months.
said healing. I know that a woman takes approximately, I think it's like 6 weeks after she's given birth, she's good to go again.
Yeah.
So therefore, if she's been given 6 weeks, 2 months. So what are we doing with the extra 10?
Yeah.
What are we doing with the extra 10?
Okay.
Take the email. Just answer an email.
No,
No, but then men shame women who breastfeed I mean, that's
Yeah.
a whole other.
No, but you were saying that the reason why women get such a lengthy
Yeah,
time period off is because to heal,
they need to
you need
heal.
6 weeks. Boom,
All right,
let's get,
6 weeks to heal,
let's get
but
back
then
to the
we still
trap.
need to-
Listen,
no,
not
but do you
every-
think that it just stops at that? First and foremost, not everyone.
Well,
has
yeah,
the
exactly.
6
Not
weeks.
every woman is the same. Right?
Okay,
It takes
let's-
her 6
okay,
weeks.
To be fair, you get stitchings. That kind of aids with the healing. So
Depends
Okay.
if you have a cesarean.
Okay, let's say
depends
let's say if a woman gets what 3 months off.
if you have this-
So therefore, if like, why do you not? Okay, here's a question. Do you
I don't
feel?
think that's. I don't think that's.
Do you feel like women?
reasonable.
Here's a question. Do you feel like men and women should have the exact same time off for the birth?
No.
What?
Why not?
Because of the physical? Because we've already,
Because,
we've already,
purely because of the physical.
we've
I
already
think- I
established
think it would
that.
be amazing. I think it would be so beneficial
Mhm.
for the child, and it would be an amazing thing for the parents to bond with their kid,
Mhm.
to understand how they will work together as parents. I think it would be great. But is it realistic? I don't know.
It's not a question whether it's realistic. I was saying like in the spirit of it being fair, because we've already established that it doesn't take
But
a
the
whole
man
12
doesn't
months.
give
Men,
birth
the
to
man
the woman.
is see.
But it doesn't take a whole 12
listen,
months.
The
so
man
what's it
still
called?
needs to build that relationship. With
This
the kid
is
as
why I'm
well.
saying-
That, but
this
when
is
you
why I'm
say
saying-
in the beginning. This is why I just
3
said, like,
months?
3-4 months. The government should put into place where if you wanted to take that time off, you could.
I think there should
A
be.
year is
I think for
unreasonable.
each couple, there should be a specific time. So whether it's a year or a year and a half, and then you can decide to split it both ways, or you can give your wife the whole year and a half, a year and a half.
that works
That's
as well,
fine.
yeah.
That's a plausible
But
idea.
I think we should encourage more men to go on maternity
Yeah,
leave.
yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that
I
would be better for
definitely agree.
society.
Like, for example, my cousin, she went back, I think, 9 months after she gave birth, and her husband took some time off. Well, I mean, bear in mind, we're talking in a situation where he could afford to take time off, but he took time off to spend time with his son as well, because he wanted to spend time with his son. And if he's in a position to do that, then that's fine. But I think that, I mean, it done them amazing for his bonding time with his child. So if I hadn't have seen that, I wouldn't have then be now saying, 3-4 months is reasonable for a man. But I think that it is. And I think that you are right. I think that if we were to introduce like a year and a half, and the man and woman can split that,
But equally
whatever
same,
works
like
for them.
you know how the whole coronavirus has completely changed the world, and more people are working from home.
I was about
I think
to say
that
as
there
well,
should be
yeah.
more of an effort to separate the work life from the kids' life. So
Mhm.
now it's very easy to just say, I'm not going to go maternity leave. I mean, most of maternity leave is unpaid. So why not work?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you get statutory.
You
No,
get
you
statutory.
do.
But that's,
You do.
that's very
I think
small,
you get
that's even.
women get 90% the first 3 months, I want to say.
And then after
Yeah.
that happens.
And then I
It's
think it's just
Statutory pay
statutory.
is like really.
It's really low. So it's
Really low.
nothing, pretty much. So
Yeah.
women could possibly work from home and look
Mhm.
after the kids at the same time. So I think slowly and surely the culture is changing
Yeah.
to allow
I
women
feel
to be
like-
more
I think
flexible.
But even-
with sorry, to
No,
cut you
no,
off.
go
I
on.
think with COVID, you're completely right. The way we work has completely changed, and people are now understanding. Even like this is to go off topic, but even like seeing disabled people can actually get more jobs now, because we've seen there is a culture of working from home, and people are able to do it. So new parents and stuff. It is completely plausible for a man to be able to take a year off to spend with his child and his wife. That should be a given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should-
No, I was just gonna say that I think that what you're saying in theory makes sense, but I feel like in principle is a bit out of touch,
Oh, 100%.
because not everyone has the space to separate work life from home life. Not everyone can afford to separate home life from work life. Like, people have kids that are sharing, like, how many
It's a
kids
class
in one
issue
room.
as well.
Yeah, of course it's a class issue. It's a money issue. There's so many different layers that we have to unpack with this. Like, as I said, in theory it's great. In principle, it's not gonna work.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Maybe because I was talking of a place with semi-privilege where I can separate my
Sound
personal
like a
life.
Tory?
No, but like
It's so
like
far from a Tory.
I'm
So
completely
far from a
opposite.
Tory.
But I can separate my work life from my own private
Yeah.
life. And I just assumed that most people can do that. But now I'm thinking about it. People that
Particularly
work,
mothers.
sometimes-
if they're not first-time mothers, if they've got other children, how can they? See, if they're single mothers,
yeah.
if they have got part-time roles, for example, have got children of different ages. Sometimes 2 different children go to 2 different schools.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many. It's so complex. Like, it's not just black and white when it comes to maternity and paternity leave, and you can't just give a blanket all right, 2 weeks here, 3 months here, a year here. Like, it's not gonna.
But at the same time, you have to remember these are businesses. They can't afford
Yeah.
for someone to be out for 2
Yeah.
years and not knowing when they're going to come back. They need stability with them. So
Yeah.
as a business owner, I understand why you wouldn't want to give more than 2 weeks
Paternity.
But then there should
Yeah.
be the option of working from home, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I feel like COVID definitely will help that.
Yeah.
Everyone
To
had
push
to like
that.
100%.
I've got a quick question, so before we change it.
Mhm.
You see, with regards, I'm going to change it myself anyway.
No,
But
go
with regard to equal pay, some people actually say that it's because of this maternity leave. That's the reason why.
It
There
definitely
tends
does
to be,
exacerbate it. It
of
100%.
Of course. Like, I'm like in big corporations, one of the first things they ask, like, are you married? Do you plan on having children? Do you plan on starting a family?
Sure, they actually ask you that,
Yeah,
Zara.
100%, of course.
Swear.
Of course, they take into your age into
They do.
consideration.
I got privilege,
If
that's
you
nice.
are married, if you're a homeowner, because if you're married and you're a homeowner and you're now on like 50-60K job, you're 1,000% going to be thinking of starting a family.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they see you as a woman, and they're intimidated by that.
I remember there
Have you
was.
been asked that? Have you both of you been asked that?
I've
in
been
that
asked
interview?
that.
You gonna have kids soon? Like, that
No,
sort of stuff.
I've just been
Oh,
asked, like,
okay.
are you married? Like, oh, what do you want, like, in the future? Would you like a family? Like, I have been asked
I had
that.
a friend who took off her engagement ring for her interview.
Wow.
No
So
way.
that they don't like assume
Discriminate,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah. And then when she started the job, she obviously had her
Bam.
ring on again.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, so you got engaged with what, 2 days after the interview? Like, but that's just the reality because they think about that kind of stuff as a
So,
business.
but where does this disparity between pay come from? Like, why are they getting paid less? I don't understand.
I think women, I wouldn't, I don't want to say anything wrong, but I think it's,
No, speak from the heart, bro.
I think if you say
This is
something
a
wrong, we'll
safe-
correct you.
I think
it's the
If you
same
say
thing.
if you say
Go on.
anything wrong,
Speak up.
Iman's gonna tell you straight away.
Say your point, go on.
I think it's sometimes that
Speak to
women,
Mike.
it's not that they don't try as hard, it's because there isn't as much
Oh no.
per se ambition for them to get to a
No,
certain
I
level.
see where you're going. Listen, no.
I said,
Wait.
I said,
No. I see where I
You hear
see.
me?
No,
You hear
I
me,
don't.
Saba?
No.
Saba,
I
speak.
don't.
Pull the plug.
I don't. I don't agree with you.
I get where he's
But
going.
you're wording it. I
get
think
where he's going.
maybe you're wording it not the best way.
No, you
But
said
we
it.
all
Okay,
understand.
but
we all
do you-
This is
understand
what
I said.
I
from a
feel like
young
what you mean.
age, we encourage men
Yeah.
try
to
and aim for the-
occupy
yeah.
spaces,
100%.
okay, of like authority, of like, so that's where that comes from. Do they try harder? It's because of the encouragement that they're given when they're younger, and they're given like
Opportunities.
you see it when you're kids. Okay, oh, he's gonna be a doctor here. Wear a stethoscope and wear an apron, and with toys and stuff. The girl is like typically given
Nurse.
a cooking set or a baby to play around with. You see that from there. Why are we encouraging that and not that?
No,
I
I don't mean.
I feel like women try harder now because obviously they already know.
Yeah,
they're gonna
a
be
woman obviously
discriminated
has
against.
to
That's why
try
they have
10
to
times
Yeah.
harder.
10 times harder.
10 times
But-
harder just
yeah.
to get in the.
See, I don't mean it like that. I mean it like women and men work in the same job, and they know that there's a possibility that they can earn more money other places or they can get a certain bonus. I know that men will have that more of an ambition to get to that next level,
Mhm.
as opposed to women who prefer comfort and stability rather than almost challenge authority. They'll be more likely to just stay on that particular level.
Okay, one thing.
That's what I meant.
One thing that I will say is that so when men go in and discuss pay,
Yeah.
they're more than likely to get the contract and say no, I want a higher pay.
That's
Women statistically take the contract without negotiating pay.
and that's why I say
Yeah.
lack of ambition.
It's not lack
Is
of
it not
ambition.
What is it?
It's
What's
not
the-
lack of
Sorry,
ambition.
correct my words for me.
It's not
Someone
lack
here
of
correct my
ambition.
words
I
for
spoke to
me.
my mum about this kind of similarly before I got here, and basically I was saying like, if a woman, for instance, let's say for instance, if you've got a board of directors, let's say if all of the men are getting like, let's say, 110 to 120k, but then they offer the woman, let's say, 100 to 110k, so she's being paid less than them. What I kind of said to my mum is, with women right now, there's kind of this air of there's this undertone of you should kind of be grateful in regards to the way that they're
Yeah.
paid. That you've got a seat at the table. So are we really gonna split hair ends over minor issues like £5,000 to £10,000? But it's the principle of the fact that I'm doing the exact same thing as my peers, but I'm not being paid the same. So is that what you're trying to allude to? Is that what you're kind of alluding to in the sense that when women get put into positions of power or certain
We're
places,
told-
it's kind of the expectation of like, you've jumped through so many hurdles. You know, you're the one in the 100 million, or like, you're the one in like 200 applicants. So you should just be grateful. You know, the fact that
in this
you know.
place,
But then with a guy, it's different in the sense that it's like inherently for us, it's the understanding that there's nothing that can stop us from getting to the top.
Yeah, I've got to go and get
So
it.
already it's
That's
a case of I know that there's nothing. It's the only thing you can discriminate me on, let's say it would be my race, but let's make the assumption that we're all white here. So let's say I'm already here. I know I'm in this position. I know that there's nothing that's going to go against me from getting this position. So why not use this position to try and negotiate the best sort of deal?
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like with women, it's more of an expectation that's like,
But why don't
There's
they?
a fear.
But
I don't know if
this
it's
is
that.
what I was saying.
Well, Saba, what do you mean there's a fear?
There's a fear of you.
you don't want to
It's
fumble
exactly
the
the
bag,
same.
low-key.
I just got this.
I don't
I
want to
worked
ruin
so
it.
hard
but
to
you
get
know
this.
what
I don't
was
want to
saying?
ruin it.
You know what I was saying earlier? How like people think I'm aggressive or yada yada, and if I say I'm a feminist, that's another thing that's just gonna. I feel like will hinder me. This is going off of that same principle. So if I get to a position now that's a really high position and it's amazing and I'm the only woman, yada yada yada, I start now talking about pay.
You know the first thing they'll say to you, she's gonna be hard to work with.
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's
Exactly.
gonna be so hard to work with this
Thank
one.
you. Whereas a man, it's
He's ballsy.
you hear me? Yes.
You know what? Fuck
Thank
it.
you.
10 grand.
Whereas me, I'm difficult. I'm this, I'm and I already get it. Is what I'm saying to you. So imagine when I'm starting to assert my authority in terms of pay and in terms of this and in terms of this, and it's like, oh, you're asking too much.
I also feel like it's due to naivety and ignorance too.
What?
In a sense,
Who's naive?
1 second, listen.
Who's naive?
In a sense that you're just assuming that we're all getting paid the same. Like when they give you the contract, you just assume that.
I hear
You're
what you're
saying
saying.
women are naive. Is that what you're saying?
He's done it. He's fucked.
Why would you assume that?
Bro, you just said that.
Nah,
It's
he,
due
I
to
can't lie,
naivety.
he has got you there still, bro.
No, when it comes to applying for a job,
As in
people are
like,
naive,
as in
yeah.
like, as in
Forget
like,
about women.
People-
I'm talking about everyone in general.
Okay.
people think that when you get the contract, that is the pay.
Yeah, it's a pay.
People or women? Because that's
Did I
that's
not
what-
just say people?
Sorry. No, but that's what you mean. Women are naive.
No, I said forget about women. Let's talk about people.
Okay.
As
People-
in, like,
Can I
people
ask
speak-
you guys
no,
a
but
question?
apply-
Can I ask you guys a question? If you were working somewhere, right, and you had the exact same job as your female counterpart, and you found out she was getting paid less than you, would you say something?
No.
It depends how
I'll
much
be
I like
honest.
her.
Even if there was a guy that's
But,
being
but
paid
as
less
a
than me,
man,
I
no,
wouldn't
but
care.
as a man, you don't have a privilege.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So if you lot recognizing and understanding your privilege and saying, I'm gonna take this privilege, because what actor were you saying?
Oh, so Benedict Cumberbatch,
Mhm.
he doesn't accept a role unless he knows his female counterparts earn exactly the same as him.
I'm gonna be real for you. I'm gonna be very, very real to you. For me personally, whether you're black, white,
think that's-
male,
yeah.
female,
Me don't
I think
care.
maybe because I'm like a very, I've got kind of like tunnel vision at sometimes.
Yeah.
So with me, it's like whatever you're being paid is your own business. You know, that's between you and the HR and the people that you negotiated your deal with. You know, if it was an issue for you, if you're content with your wage, then you're content with it. It shouldn't be a case where you see what your neighbours got and suddenly you feel feelings of animosity and like, oh damn, like why have I not got that? Like that's your own business. You were fine before it was common knowledge or you had the idea of what
I hear
I've got.
that. I hear that. But right now, and the issue with gender inequality when it comes to pay is that there's a ceiling for women's pay. So that it doesn't go beyond that. The companies and corporations don't see that. So let's say, for example, Freddy's on 60K and I'm on 40K and the highest any woman has ever got in that corporation is 45. So already the ceiling for me is 45. I will never get to 60. Even though Freddy might be able to push to 65, I won't get beyond 45 because that's the ceiling for me, just as women in general.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So I hear what you're saying in terms of you stay in your lane, like you negotiate what it is for you. I could negotiate my ass off and the highest I'll get is 45, even though I have the same qualifications, experience, as Freddy. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like that's changed.
Wait,
now, though.
do you think...
I would actually help out the woman or the black guy.
There's a
But
difference.
If I'm arguing about my
If
pay.
she asked you, you would. But I feel like if it
No.
was
On a serious note, I hate injustice. Full stop. I actually, I may not speak out overtly. I may not speak out overtly, but covertly, I will be giving you the tips. I will be telling you this is what you should do. This is what you're gonna do because it's your own battle. To be
Okay,
fair.
but then
I
what if they
would-
decrease your pay to make it even?
I don't recognise that. Sorry,
There is a problem
sorry,
then.
Sorry.
What if they
If
do?
they-
Sorry.
what-
I don't think that's the same guy. Who's this out? I don't know.
What's
Is
that?
that,
Okay, what's
do you
that?
know that?
Let me
Is
just
that the
think.
same?
If they
I don't know
decrease
if
my
that's
pay,
Yeah, if they decrease
That's
your
like
pay.
looking down at women.
To make it equal.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry,
one
guys.
thing I have realized.
Sorry, girls.
That's
Sorry,
okay,
girls.
so one thing I have realized.
I'll deal with you next week.
No. One thing I have realized, and I have to thank God for being brought up here in the UK and being brought up in like kind of Essex, London, amongst white people,
Essex.
because I've realized how
Like
I've realized how
Yeah.
white
You
people-
heard it. You heard it as well. Yeah, you heard it. Yeah.
So I'm thankful that I've been brought up in the UK, not here in like Essex.
in kind of like Essex and London.
But you said I'm thankful that I've been brought up in the UK.
But what do
You said, but
That's not my point. My point is earlier in the episode, before we even started, Fred said he's not from Essex.
I didn't answer that question.
No, that was me.
Oh, was you?
That was
Oh,
Tevin.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was
I feel
Tevin.
like you guys are committed to trying to misunderstand what I'm saying.
Oh my
But anyway,
Continue.
I am grateful for that because I have been amongst white people and I've seen the way they speak up whenever they don't like something. I've seen the way they negotiate. and
Yeah,
all
but
that
they're
stuff.
able to speak
They're
up.
able. That's the thing. But
Yeah.
then I've kind of,
Speak your mind, speak your mind.
I've kind of adopted that kind of that mentality whereby, okay, no, I'm going to speak up whenever I don't like something, all that stuff. And I've forgotten what I was alluding to now. What did you say before?
You're basically saying how like covertly, if you feel that there's injustice, you
Oh,
don't
that's
like
it, yeah. So I will say, okay, calm. Give me that paper. I'm cutting.
You're cutting.
Okay, no, but what I'm trying to say to you is, this is what all of you lot didn't hear, yeah?
Yeah.
This is what Saba asked. If a woman or the corporation came to you and said, yeah, we're increasing women's pay, would you not take a pay cut?
No.
If they're increasing women's pay and then a bid to increase it,
They have to
take a
cut
pay
your
cut.
pay.
No.
Well,
In order to make it equal.
Why?
it depends by how much.
Throughout
really,
the
truly.
company.
Yeah,
It's
right.
not, you're not the only
It
one
depends
who's
by how
suffering.
much though.
To make it equal.
No, but I'm saying like, say for instance, if I'm like earning like 100 grand and then they're saying, they're gonna drop it down to like 99. That'll kind of bug me because I've lost the figure. But let's just say if it's like the drop isn't that much and it's all in the pursuit of equality.
I mean, you know,
That's
for,
fair.
I
for
wouldn't want
argument's
it to
sake-
be a case where my whole lifestyle has to get changed.
No, but
I'll
that's we know that's unreasonable. We know that will never happen.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's all
Yeah.
relative to the amount of the pay
Of
cut.
course,
yeah.
that'll be unreasonable. Bearing in mind, these corporations are led by men, so these decisions will most likely have a man in the room making these decisions.
Mhm.
If not led by him, a man will be in the room. So it wouldn't be unreasonable whereby you would have to remortgage your house and move. It's not going to get to that point. But what we are trying to say is that, as you said, in the pursuit of,
If it's
Like a 5% cut.
If it's like this is going to be a pivotal moment, it's going to be a stride towards things going. Yeah, like why not? Like if it's a case where
I would.
if it's not like it's going to impact me, like I can still do what I need to do, then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like I know it's towards. It's kind of like
Yeah.
giving money to charity in a way. As bad as it sounds, it's towards a good cause. Don't
How
get
do you feel
offended.
about that?
Come on.
Don't get offended. Don't get offended. Don't get
No,
offended. It's like you're
yeah,
giving
I
money
do-
to a
I
good
do know
cause.
what you
Okay,
mean,
fine.
It's just being
Fine.
redistributed. Okay, it's like paying taxes. Better.
See,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I wouldn't take that cut. I wouldn't.
He's a feminist.
But no, for me, it's
you
like
have to make it make sense.
I'm
Tell
feminist.
him
I
again.
believe in equality, but that's your issue. Solve it yourself. Don't involve me.
But you're the
Don't
reason as
involve
to
me.
why that you're part of the
No,
reason
look,
as to why the issue exists.
I would rather leave, go to another company, get more pay,
So
and then
what
you
if it
lot
was-
solve it
What if
there.
it was all company? What if it was government legislation?
That what? Men and women have to
you go to Nigeria.
We've got countries. Now, if it's government legislation, I could understand that. But if it's within a company, why would I get
What
pay
happens
cut
if you've got
when
50
someone else is
million
going to
and you
pay me
said
more?
for your salary?
To be fair, I'm not gonna lie. I would accept the pay cut, but I'm also cutting though.
See, Fred gets it.
I know. Hear me out. I really do agree. I agree on, like with equality,
Actually, that's true,
in terms of payment. But if I know I can get more money elsewhere.
Yeah, it's true. Money
Why
have a
am I
mech
staying
still.
there?
I can't
No,
lie.
I
Money
hear you,
have a
but
mech
what?
still. I
Okay,
can't lie, I'm off.
But you moving to another corporation for a higher pay is a separate issue. Yeah, from it being decreased to make it equal to women.
No, I'll
I'm
accept
saying
the
it's
decrease.
government legislation
Yeah.
for
Okay,
all
then that's
corporations.
calm.
I'll be fine
That's
with
calm,
that.
then there's
I'll
no
be
point.
fine with
Yeah,
that.
because then you.
No, because what
everyone's on the
we only
same
work
what
to get
happens
paid, don't we?
in that example, you've got no other option except to
Exactly.
leave the country.
So that's the only way.
So therefore, that's your
No,
you're
or I
accepting
can
it
decide
because-
not to work. I know it's
So
mad.
how
I know it's mad, but
One second. You
Use in the
We
middle.
come from a
What's-
different
your pride
class
yeah.
because
What you
Is
need
your
to-
pride that high that you'd rather not work than let women have equal pay? That says I'd
wish
rather
it
eat
was.
imagination and pride
You know
than
what's
let
really
these
sad?
women get
You know
the
what's
same
really
amount.
sad? We're discussing this as
Damn.
banter, but that's not funny.
Why you
That's a fact. No, I realise we're all laughing at this, but that's not actually funny. That's not right.
This is how I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Do you know what cracks me up? You're the one who came out first. I'm a
I'm a
feminist.
feminist.
I am.
Everyone should be equal.
I am.
Bottom line, that's it.
I am.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm a feminist.
No, look.
I
he's
even
so
went out with a girl
misogynistic.
and she told me she's not a feminist and I did.
Wow.
He likes his privilege.
Girls like to remember
I
stuff.
feel like
you know?
you're-
Wow. No, look,
Delusional.
no. From my point of view, like growing up, like my mom worked most of
Yeah.
all of her life pretty much,
Mm.
and she was a nurse. And for me, like for a period of time, she was the only person working. My dad wasn't in the country, so if I knew that she was earning less than her male counterparts that were doing the same job, I think that's ridiculous because
It would piss you
effectively
off.
she's a single mother.
Yeah.
So if there was policies in place to give her more money, I would completely support that. But in my own perspective, if I was working at a company and they asked me to take a pay cut, and I know that I don't need to accept that pay cut, but I can go somewhere else and still earn the same amount of money, I'll take it.
But what if the person you were getting your pay cut for a woman who was a single mother?
Oh, I understand. I would take it. I would accept
So
it.
therefore, that means that your support for the feminist movement is contingent to her circumstances.
Yeah. I mean,
But
if it
that's
was a
not-
black
No,
or
but
So
that's
you know
not
what?
being
Wait, wait.
feminist.
You know Oprah Winfrey. You know Oprah Winfrey.
Well, the billionaire, yeah.
Yeah. She when she was starting out, when she was
sorry.
when she was starting out, she wasn't earning the same amount of her
As her counterparts
Yeah.
or something.
I think she had a co-host who was a man or something.
Oh.
Anyway, she wasn't earning the same amount of him. He was earning a lot more. And the guy that she went to the network, she's like, "Why is he earning more than me?" He was like, "He has a family. You have no one, and so why should he be why should you be earning more than him or the same as him?" But it's not fair. It's still not fair.
But hear this,
Because she's doing the same
job.
She's doing the
wait.
same exact job.
Saba, Tevin, you say it because I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say it.
If this is the flip side,
100%.
and she's a single mother,
Black.
and then let's say if she's a single mother,
Mhm.
and then let's say, for instance, if she's a white woman, and then let's say she's earning more, is it fair that a single mother earns more than the guy that's got no responsibility?
No.
No. If they have the exact same job,
They have the exact same
If they
job,
have
same
the
qualification.
same
Why
job,
should she get
same
more?
qualification.
But
No.
for me personally, like I've always known the way like pay packets are done, it's always a spectrum. And then so depending on your circumstances, I'm saying this because obviously where I work, I know there's certain managers that earn on the upper end of the spectrum due to their personal circumstances. And then there's others that, they're just a lot younger, so therefore they get paid less. So the guy that earns on the up end of the spectrum, his wife basically had a brain tumor. She had to get surgeries. So she was basically off of work. So he was basically
The main provider.
Provide.
yeah, and obviously he had to take care of the kids a lot more. So
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
it makes more sense from a compensation point of view. However, but he does the exact
But-
same job as his counterparts.
Obviously, everyone's circumstances is different, and if you go and
So is that
you
is it-
request,
but
Yeah,
in
when
that
you
situation, is that
negotiate
fair?
your pay, no, but when you negotiate your pay,
but
you just
he's
have to convince them to give you that.
To give
Yeah,
you
this
that.
is the
I don't
thing.
think
We're
it should
talking-
just be given just because.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
You need to argue, not
Innit?
argue it, but you need to say
Negotiate
why
your pay,
your
yeah.
So in the-
work,
so in-
your work,
so in the-
that
so
the
in the-
value of your work
So
is
in
more.
the Oprah case, is it not fair then?
No,
'cause
I
if
don't
you-
think it's fair.
Yeah,
No, but
I
he's
think
got a
she should have been
family.
paid more. I think she should have been
She
paid.
should have
He's
been
got a
paid.
family.
He's
She
got a
doesn't have a
family.
No.
Yeah,
He's got a
I
family.
presume
He's
they're
providing
using that as
the
an
family.
excuse anyway.
She
But-
from the beginning was not paid the same amount.
But let's.
He didn't have to argue his case.
But how do you know
because
this
he had-
though? Because
Because
Okay, one last
Of
thing.
course,
One
listen,
second,
this is a
one last thing.
discussion.
One last thing
We're
before-
talking in
one
a.
second.
We're
ladies and
talking-
gentlemen, we got
One- okay,
Listen, we're
one last thing.
talking-
One last thing, Saba. One sec. Let me quickly answer that question. You know when I said that, okay, I would actually accept the pay cut and leave.
This
You
guy's
need to
trying to
understand
escape.
this. One sec, one
You know
sec.
you're misogynist.
Wait, you need to
Fine.
hear me out. The only reason why we work is to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will accept the pay cut so that everyone's on the same level. But there's nothing. Why am I staying there if I can go to elsewhere and
That's exactly what I said.
I can't like. It's so
That's
true.
exactly what I said.
It's so true.
That one's got nothing to do with feminism.
And also,
That's
as well,
what
I feel like what we were saying as well, like, at what point does it become like the distinction between negotiating power and someone's just being discriminated on their gender? Because let's say, for instance, if a man and a woman both get offered the exact same amount of money, and then let's say if the man says, "I'm gonna be real with you, I know my value, put another 10 on it."
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Boom. So that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's not every instance where there's pay disparities because it happens
It's
within.
fine, but with negotiating power, I feel like people are more likely to give it to men, and people are more
Yeah,
likely
that's
to
true.
laugh
That's
at women.
100%.
That's a given.
100%.
If I say that,
I feel like as well. I feel like it's because I feel like a lot of it as well is like you said because a lot of men are in the positions of power, and I feel like it's an ego thing. Like most often than not, if you ask a lot of men, would you want a woman that's challenging you, all the time? They'll probably say no. It's just tiring, But then
that's a separate issue.
But no,
though,
but hear this though. So say for instance, now that gets carried into the workplace, it's a situation where you're trying to give her a pay package, and then she's challenging you. It's a case of it's just like, oh gosh, this is going to be so long. Is it a case of I really want to keep going through this? So that's what I'm trying to say. In that sort of scenario where some men, they'll just be like, because obviously the men are the ones making decisions, they might just be like, you know what? It's just going to be long to work with her, so I don't even want to pay her this amount of money because it's just like I don't want to have to consistently go through this whole and sometimes men a lot of men get intimidated by women with strong personalities that know their value and say no, because a lot of men inherently feel like women are going to be docile, they're going to be like, oh, thank you, yes. But when a woman says no, it's like, whoa, why is she talking back to me? This was not in the script, Jeff. Like when was this a thing? You know what I mean? So it's bad, but there are certain circumstances where men and women aren't going to get paid equal, and I feel like it's fair. And I feel like in some sense, say for instance, dependent on the industry, in professional industries, like let's say, like majority of 9 to 5 jobs, everything should be paid the same. Like there's no differential. However,
when it comes to like creative industries,
I feel like it's very, very dependent. When you get into like not the niche industries, but the ones that are away from the mainstream jobs,
like contractors.
No, because contractors.
Not even contractors.
I
I would
mean,
say like creative industries and all of like those type of industries. It's a measure of your ability to create.
For instance, like
whatever
the most basic example of men and women's football pay. For instance, women can never be paid the same. And I'll argue to the death on that.
I hear that because they don't get as many spectators. There's not as much revenue.
They can if they get enough revenue.
It's not watched as much as men's football. But why is that? But why is that?
Men aren't interested in it.
Yeah.
No. But why?
But that's something I don't feel like we can.
It goes down. You have to unpack that as well.
Definitely as well, because I feel like as well it's to do with I guess as well, if it's like saying, would more men watch women playing volleyball than playing football?
Yeah.
Yes, because calm down, buddy.
All right.
But but again, that's because
but that's to do with sexualization of women.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say. So therefore, that's another reason why we're saying like women's football can only ever go so far because
it's not sexualized.
Yeah, it's not a sport.
And it's a sport you associate with men. It's not a sport you associate with women.
Same for like women's rugby. Like a guy, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to see a woman like.
Yeah, with MMA. Well, actually,
MMA the last one.
I was about to say
that was good.
It depends.
Yeah, but by and large, like those sort of industries, like I feel
even
like
I found it uncomfortable when I was watching the other fight. Like there was a woman fighting, and I was like, whoa. Like
her face was bruised and disfigured. That fight was
that was a good
honey,
fight. Yeah.
Your
paid to
facial
watch that,
structure, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I found it uncomfortable as a woman watching a woman fight.
That's just because you're just not used to it. I think that's it.
That's
everyone.
But
I don't want to watch it. I wouldn't go and pay money.
We're not used to it.
It's the same way to say like an example I said to these guys as well. Yeah, we'll do in a minute. Like another example would be like, let's say if there's a women's beauty pageant compared to let's say the male equivalent, would you expect the male beauty pageant to generate the same amount of income that the female one would?
But do you see how it's all
into gender roles?
But do you see how it's all considered around sexualization of women?
Yeah.
And feminism becomes a capitalist issue. It becomes all of that.
Wait, why is it sexualization? Because surely
it is sexualization.
Surely the women audience or women population could also watch like female things. Isn't it 50-50?
No, they do, but who are these corporations owned by? It's all by men.
Yeah.
All of capitalism, all of this stuff is
fed by men. Take for
by
example,
men.
women's FA, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So watching the football, females football, why can't they have a female audience, like the same audience as men?
They do have a female audience.
But no.
Oh, you mean like as in attract the same numbers? Is it like why can't you get 60,000 well, obviously when it comes to men's football, it's men and women and children. But why can't they generate that amount of numbers? That's what you're asking.
Yeah, why can't the women do that themselves? Like, why can't they watch
I feel like women do that. But I feel
But
like
I feel like
because
you're
society,
dependent upon
I feel like
men to do that, to watch their stuff.
well, that in part of it as well. But I feel like just women in society, we are we are our own problem as well. You know, like
Everybody's
we're part of the
conditioned.
problem. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's conditioned,
So we're conditioned to sexualizing ourselves also.
100%.
So I'm not saying that it's just a male problem and you don't need to figure out what you lot are doing. We're part of the problem as well. And there's so many other different issues that we're part of the problem.
It goes back to like,
with.
you know, when you're growing up as well, like women aren't encouraged to play football and stuff like that in school and stuff. It's a male dominated
Yeah.
sport.
Prime example being like
in
Freddy,
class.
like Beckham. As much as that,
Exactly.
Yeah.
In schools like that, you know, it's just there's football teams for boys. Like we had a girls' football team and we had a boys' football team. But when I was in primary school, but
they might not even set up games. For
we
other
didn't have
schools,
games
you know,
set up
it's
for the
just
girls, nothing like that. So it comes down to that. The interest is all catered around men when it comes to sport. It's just the way it's been.
all of like the whole society is governed by gender roles. And a lot of it is obviously we're all victims to social conditioning in the sense that people have to behave and maneuver in a certain way, and like it's basically the basis of how society's been set up, like in regards to the erection of industries and along a lot of other stuff. But all in all, like I feel like the one thing that we've kind of all agreed on is that, you know,
that Folarin's not a feminist. And you're listening to For the Plug podcast.
That's the
Your Pretty
conclusion
Girl
of this episode.
I've been Freddy.
I'm okay with that.
I've been Tevin. You've been done out. You've been done out.
I've been Folarin the feminist.
Say your name.
Oh, I'm on.
I've been Saba.
Thank you for watching.
Wow.
Pleasure's always.
Thanks.